High Ticket Sales is the online business model that got me from dead broke to $25,000 per month, and this guy from dead broke to $87,000 in a single month. And in this video, I'm gonna explain a free course walking you through exactly how to get started with it. Let's dive in. This business model is something that pretty much anybody can start as long as you have a laptop, a phone, a Wi-Fi connection, and a voice that works. This is my business partner Trey, and together we've helped over 50 people generate anywhere from $100,000 to $350,000 profit per year. First off, what is high ticket sales? High ticket sales is basically where you are a salesperson for an influencer or a creator online that either has a big following or a lot of money to spend on advertising, and you're basically just closing deals for them. You're taking calls with interested customers that are going to be booking in to your calendar, and then you're just gonna sell as many of them as possible. Every single time that you close a deal, you'll make anywhere from $100 to a few $1,000s in commission per sale. Basically what a day in the life looks like of somebody that's in high ticket sales is you'll wake up, you'll have anywhere from 4 to 8 calls in your calendar. Those are anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. An average closing rate for all those calls is 20 to 30%, which is like anywhere from 1 to 3 deals depending on how many calls you take. So if you do that and you're making anywhere from 100 to a couple grand per sale, that can add up pretty quickly. Cool part about it is too, I can do this on vacation, I can do this when I go on a trip, I can do this when friends like this guy are in town. It's very good with my schedule, and I'm able to work around things that I have on a day-to-day basis.
So there's a ton of business models and a ton of different ways you can make money online, but the reason that we think this is the best way for you to get started is because it actually takes no upfront capital. If you look at drop shipping or Amazon or different business models out there, it takes a lot of capital and a lot of different skills to make them work. So the chances are of you being successful right out of the gate are very slim, unfortunately. But with high ticket sales, you only have to focus on one specific skill, and you can keep doing it until you make it work without having to put in more and more capital, without having to risk your own money to actually get started.
Probably 99% of people that get into online business fail. And the reason that they fail is because they're trying to do way too many things at once. They're trying to learn sales, they're trying to learn marketing, they're trying to learn how to build a good product, they're trying to learn accounting, and I can go on and on and on and on and on. The thing with sales is you can make the same amount of money that a business owner does, literally just building one skill and learning how to get good at one thing. It's pretty simple, and the path to making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month is just way easier than having to build an entire business from the ground up.
And the thing about sales is it's something that's utilized in your everyday life, whether it's women or whether it's business. It's something that you learn that will be directly applicable to anything that you do down the line, and it's something that will help you get comfortable facing rejection, and it'll help you become a better communicator overall, which will help you in whatever you want to do in life.
Now you might be wondering, what am I selling and who am I selling it for? So you're selling for big creators literally in any niche or any market possible. These can be people who are really good at fitness and health. These could be people who are really good at investing in real estate or investing in the stock market. This could be people who are good at dropshipping or e-commerce. This could be people who are good at repairing marriages. This could be people who are really good at filing taxes and they help people save money on their taxes. There are so many different markets and people that you can sell for. It's actually insane. I would argue there's probably hundreds of types of people and offers that you can sell. And you can sell courses for them. You can sell their consulting programs where they work one-on-one with clients. You can sell services that maybe they sell to other businesses. There's a wide array of products that you can sell for these specific type of people too. So I hope you can see how many opportunities there really are.
This is something that isn't going to be going away in the near future because social media is continuing to become more and more popular and more people are coming onto it every single day. But also alternative education industry is something that's continued to grow and continue to boom as college becomes less popular and people wanting to learn specific skills becomes more and more popular over time. And chances are some of the people that we're about to break down selling these products and services are people that you've probably seen before on social media. So for example, Cardinal Mason, he sells a copywriting product. He teaches people how to get into copywriting, which is basically where you're writing words that sell for popular influencers or popular brands. So think websites, emails, things like that. If you've ever been scrolling through Instagram and seen content like this, or if you've ever clicked on a story and you saw someone asking you to click on a link to book a call with their team, or a specific call to action in the story, they're trying to get you to book a call with the closer who would then take the sales call to try and close you for a commission. Now this guy is booking anywhere from 10 to 20 sales calls a day. These typically last for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Obviously, he wouldn't be able to take all these calls as that would take up his entire day. He'll happily give up 10% of the $5,000 price point that his product is in order for a salesperson to take those calls and take that responsibility off of his plate. Each salesperson that's closing a deal for his offer is making $500 per sale. This is someone that you guys have probably seen before, Tony Robbins. This guy sells a ton of different stuff. His price range anywhere from low 4 figures, a couple $1,000, anywhere to even 6 figures per deal. He sells products that are helping people basically regain back control of their life. He has a massive sales team that he pays 6 figures a year plus. This is Alex Sedlak. He teaches people how to make money on TikTok Shop, which is basically where people post videos about products in order to earn commission. His product's around 5K, so his sales team's making $500 per deal that they close. This is Iman Ghazi. Chances are, if you have a YouTube or an Instagram account, you've probably seen this guy. He teaches people how to make money starting a social media marketing agency. We actually have a guy that's inside of our group that works for him. He's making multi-6 figures a year working for him. He generates calls booked from his Instagram and from his YouTube for the salespeople, and his product is anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 plus. So sales reps on his team are making anywhere from $200 to $500 per deal that they close.
And this is only just a few examples, guys. You couldn't even realize how many types of people like this there actually are that sell expensive digital products in so many different niches. But I hope you get the gist of who you will be selling for. Now, the next part of the video is going to be showing you exactly how to sell for these people, what to say, how to do it, how to get a customer from interested to paying you thousands of dollars so you can collect your check at the end of that phone call. Literally all you have to do to dumb it down as easily as possible, just go find people that are doing a bunch of cool shit online, like traveling the world, getting jacked, making a ton of money online, whatever it might be, and just DM them because they probably do have a product of some sort, and ask them if they need a salesperson. You could send out like 20 to 30 of these a day and just make sure you do that every single day, and you could probably land your first sales position within like your first 4 to 6 weeks. It's not too hard. Now you're probably wondering, like, you get hired. One of these guys says, yes, come on as a sales rep. What the hell do I say on these calls to get people to buy the product? That's what I'm about to show you, because when I landed my first sales position 6 years ago, I literally had no idea what to say. I was using Wolf of Wall Street quotes on sales calls to try and close deals and getting laughed off the phones. It was terrible. So here I'm gonna break it down in a script of exactly what to do and say so you can close as many deals as possible. So phase one, when you get on the phone with an interested customer, you're going to frame the sales call. Now here's what framing the sales call means. It's basically just telling them exactly how the call is gonna go and what's gonna happen at the end if it is a fit and you decide that you would like to pitch them on the service that you sell, okay? It's the first 30 seconds of the interaction, so it's really simple, and I'll break it down for you with the exact scripting that I use. As soon as they hop on, I'll say, hey, whereabouts on the planet are you? And they'll say, I'm in London or Ireland or Miami, Florida, or freaking
Idaho,
Omaha, Nebraska. Sorry if you live in Omaha. And then I always tell them that I'm sorry that they live in Omaha, Nebraska. After that, you're basically just gonna say something along the lines of, hey, really looking forward to speaking today. Basically how this call is gonna go is I'm gonna ask a bunch of questions. It's gonna be like a first date where you've maybe heard some of them before, but I need to know what's going on in your current situation and exactly where you're looking to be with our product. If I feel like it's a good fit and then we can really help you, I'll walk you through the product, how it works, how it'll help you. And then at the end of the call, we can come to a decision on if you'd like to move forward with it or not. If you're not a fit or we're not a fit for you, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll just give you some free resources or something useful to walk away with. So either way, this call is a positive for you. Does that sound fair? That's it. You can literally write that scripting down verbatim. I've used that to close over $7 million in deals on the phone. That's the call frame. Like I said, 30 seconds, so not real much to add there. Or if you don't feel like noting all of that down or you didn't use ChatGPT to do it, there's a free script in the description that you can just download and use on your sales calls. Framing the sales call is really important. It's a small part of the call, but it's very important. The reason because of that is actually, I'll give you a story to tie this in. Back when I first started in sales, I was not framing sales calls. And I would get a bunch of people who would hop on the call and just be like, yo kid, cut the shit, give me the price. And I was a 17-year-old and didn't know how to handle that, so I'll just give them the price, they would tell me no, and then I was just not making any money and it really sucked. So what I started doing was exactly what I just told you. And guess what? People followed my call structure, they let me ask questions to see if it was a good fit, and then because I was able to ask those questions, I was able to get the ammunition that I needed from them to make more sales. So that's why you need to frame the call, is so people don't just say, cut the crap and give me the price, but you can actually follow your sales process and close more deals.
Framing the call is literally just letting the prospect know the order of what's going to happen during the call. So that whenever you're asking them questions and whenever you're getting an understanding of the situation, they don't get frustrated and they actually know the purpose behind why you're asking the questions. They know that you're going to explain the product later after you get an understanding of your situation and know that you can actually help them.
And the thing is, we structure sales calls very strategically. We do it in a way where we're just talking about low resistance stuff at the start, but by the end of the sales call, this prospect feels like they have to buy our product right now. Otherwise, things will go badly. There's 3 phases of a sales call. There's discovery, the pitch, and objections. I'm gonna walk you through exactly what to do and say for each of those sections, all right? So first, in discovery, the first thing that we need to figure out is the prospect's goals. All right, here's how we're gonna do that. We're straight up just gonna ask them, hey, John, what's your goal? Then John's gonna give us the goal. Then we're gonna ask John, why that goal specifically? Out of all the goals you could have told me, why that one? Then John tells us why that goal. Then we ask John why that specific reasoning for that goal is important to him specifically. Then we get even deeper. After we do that, we figure out John's long-term goal by just asking him, John, what's your long-term goal? Once you've achieved goal A right here, where do you want to be in the long term? Then John tells us what that is. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out how these goals are not only going to impact John, but how they're going to impact other people that are around him too. Especially if somebody has a wife or kids or people that they're really close to, typically their goals will not only benefit them, but it'll benefit others too. So how I ask that question is just, John, let's say you're doing X, whatever John said his goal was. Let's say you're here. Who else is that going to impact, and what sort of impact is it going to have on? And that's it. That's all you need to do for goals. It's a lot longer than what I just did. I just quickly ran you through it. But use that scripting and you're going to get amazing reasoning as to why John's goals are important to him. And the reason that we need to do this as well is because we need John to realize like where he is right now is actually a lot further away from his ideal situation than he initially even thought. What this is going to do is it's going to make John want to buy our stuff more. And we're going to use this information in the pitch to really make sure that happens. So that's goals. Let's move on to the next part of discovery, which is current situation.
The second step is going to be focused on current situation / pain. So basically what this step is understanding what they currently do and why this is currently a problem, so that we get information from them on why they're not happy with what they're doing and what their situation actually looks like, so we have a full scope of what's actually going on. The first step is to understand what they specifically do for work, right? We want to understand what they specifically do for work and if they currently like what they're doing or if they're on pace to be able to achieve the goals that they want to achieve with what they're currently doing, right? If they say no, most people are going to say no, which is the reason that they actually reached out in the first place. We're going to understand why they're not happy with what they're doing. Now they're going to start to tell us why they're not happy with the current thing that they're doing, which is typically going to be reasons like, I'm not able to spend time with my family, I don't like my job, I'm not satisfied, I'm not fulfilled, I don't like my boss. They're going to tell you reasons as to why they don't actually like what's going on, which is great information from us, right? After that, what we're going to start to do is understand the impacts of what this thing that they're currently doing, how this is impacting other areas of their life. How is not being able to spend time with your kids, how is not having a great relationship with your wife, how is that impacting things for you currently, and what sort of toll is that taking on you? Now what this is starting to do is it's starting to open up what the impacts of the situation that they're in, how this is affecting things for them and why they can't keep doing what they're doing. And we can start to stretch this. What this basically means is we're adding a time frame to what their situation looks like. So we're adding a time frame to how long this whole thing has been going on for. To give you an example, if it's been going on for 3-4 years, they've been working this job for 3-4 years, they've been unsatisfied, they've not been fulfilled, this problem has been going on for a really long time, and now begins to challenge them on why they want to actually do this now. And the purpose of this is so that we can get them to tell us why they have to do this now. So if they get to the end of the call, they don't say things like, hey, I can do this next week or I can do this next month, because we just got a ton of information for them on why they're not happy with the situation and why they have to do this right now and why they can't push this off. Once you understand how this is impacting things for them currently, you can start to understand what the ramifications are if they don't actually fix this thing. So how is this going to impact their life? What's going to happen if 3, 4, 5 years from now, their situation looks the exact same way that it is now? They have a terrible relationship with their wife, their kids are getting older, they continue to be like not happily mentally, they're not fulfilled. What's going to happen if their exact situation is the same thing as now 5 years, 6 years, 7 years later on down the road?
Even like a few months.
Even a few months. Yeah, 100%. So after we understand what the pain is, what the problem of their current situation is, and why they need to make a change, now we want to understand why they haven't been able to figure out this on their own. So this is what we call doubt, the doubt portion of the sales call. So basically the way that you eliminate doubt is by straight up asking them, what is keeping you from being able to solve this problem? What is keeping you from being able to replace your income, get started with this business, and quit your job and spend more time with your family, kids? What is keeping you from being able to do this? And they will specifically tell you what the biggest thing that's keeping them from being able to do this is, so that once you get to the end of the call, they're not going to say something along the lines of, hey, I can just fix this on my own. So we're eliminating the objection of them saying that they want to do this on their own by simply asking them, what is keeping you from being able to solve this problem on your own, and why have you not been able to do this?
Another question that I would even add on top of what we just gave you is like, why are we on the call today and you're not at this goal yet? Like, why has that not happened yet? Something very similar to what Trey said, but like something that you could even ask additionally, and that'll literally get them to say out loud something along the lines of, I have no idea what I'm doing, or I need a coach, or I need somebody to guide me through the process. Something along those lines. That's exactly what we're looking for. They cannot bring up an ego-based objection at the end of the call once we've gotten them to say that out loud. Now we're done with discovery. We've gotten the goals, we've gotten the current situation, but more importantly, we've realized the pain and the crap of their current situation, and we've gotten them to say out loud that they can't fix their current situation on their own. That's all we need in discovery. So step one, checked off the list, we're done with that. Now we move into the pitch, and the pitch actually has two parts. There's the pre-pitch, and then there's the actual pitch. The pre-pitch is basically designed to get the prospect sold on the specific method that you sell before you get them sold on your specific product. Overall, what it looks like is, hey, here's our specific method. Here's our other competing methods. Here's why we believe this is the best method over other competing methods, and that reasoning is going to be different for every method. Here's why I believe our specific method is going to be the best fit for you specifically over the other methods that are out there. And then we're going to just ask them if they agree after we give them all of that reasoning. That's what a good pre-pitch looks like. And then you transfer into the pitch to get them sold on the product. So literally just the principle of a pre-pitch is just making the prospect realize that the thing you sell is better than anything else they could go buy that competes with what you sell. Very simple. So even if you forget the bullet points that we just gave you completely, they just go through one ear out the other, just go off the riff and just tell the prospect why you believe your specific method that you sell is better than every single other thing that they could possibly go try, and just ask them if they agree with what you said. Now we move on to the pitch. It's time to get the prospect sold on our product. The sale on the method has been made. All we have to do left is just sell them on our product and like moving forward with us. Here's how to do that. I like to pitch very simply. Like some of you would probably be shocked at the pitches that I give people to close offers that are priced at $5,000 to $10,000 in one call. I do it very simply. Here's what that process looks like. Typically, I pitch in 3 steps. So I walk the prospect through 3 steps that are going to take them from where they are now in their current situation to exactly where they want to be, both in the short term and in the long term with their goals. Here's what that formula looks like. With every single step, I tell the prospect what the step is, why the step is a step in the first place, why this step that I'm mentioning will benefit them specifically. I'll ask them if that makes sense after I explain all that. And then after I explain all that, and I make sure it makes sense, I ask the prospect what their thoughts are on what I just said specifically. Based on their thoughts, some of them might say, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's not very confident. So if a prospect gives me a reply like that, I'm gonna ask them, what doesn't make sense, or what's holding you back from feeling like that's exactly what you need right now? Then they'll tell me, and I can re-explain some stuff and redo this process. But if the prospect's like, that's exactly what I'm looking for, this is amazing, I know that I'm making progress and I'm getting them further sold on my product so I can continue progressing through the pitch. I'll literally do this for all 3 steps. It's so simple, but I've closed deals at like 40 to 50% close rate for the past 6 years of my career. I promise you this works. Both of us have closed millions of dollars with it. The reason that we follow this specific formula is because people are just very jealous. Naturally, they're very jealous people. They want to know why something's going to benefit them specifically. And if they don't feel like something's going to benefit them specifically for their own selfish reasons, they're not going to buy from you. So I follow this formula of here's a step, why it's a step, what they're going to get out of the step specifically, and then ask them if that makes sense. I follow that because of actually a really important quote that I learned from somebody named Alex Hormozy called "Sell the vacation, not the plane ride." Where a lot of salespeople go wrong is they will just explain the features of their product. Yeah, we have this, we have that, we also include this, and you get 6 months of this as well. Sound good? And it does sound good, but the prospect's internally asking themselves, how is this gonna benefit me though? So if you explain the step and you tell them what's included and what you're gonna do, but then you also relate it to what exactly it's going to get them, they're gonna love it way more.
Heck with all that.
What's really important is what they're gonna get from that step specifically, the benefit they're going to receive. At the end of the pitch, and you've gotten them sold on your product specifically, you're just gonna walk them quickly through exactly what's included. What they're buying is instantly what they're gonna get access to the moment that they hand you their credit card. So after I explain the steps, I'll just say, awesome, how all of this is gonna be fulfilled and delivered to you is through X, Y, and Z. And I'll give them a 20 to 30 second summarization of everything that's included and exactly what they're gonna buy. That's it. Once I do that, the key is I'm not just gonna tell them that the price is X as soon as I tell them about the product. What I'm first gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that they feel like the product that I just walked them through is exactly what's gonna get them to their goals in the quickest time possible. Here's how I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna ask them straight up, what are your thoughts on the entire process that I just walked you through specifically? Steps 1, 2, and 3, and then also what's included. You'll be able to tell based on their language just how confident that they are. If somebody's, oh yeah, it sounds pretty good, that person's not 100% confident that this is exactly what they need and that this is gonna get them where they wanna be. So we have some work to do, and you're just gonna call that out. Hey, you don't sound too confident. What's holding you back from feeling like this is exactly what you need? What information would you like? Or what did I not explain clearly? Then they'll tell you, you explain it clearly, you repeat this process. But if you ask that original question and somebody's like, no, this is exactly what I'm looking for, this is amazing, best thing since sliced bread, you know you did your job, and now you can go for the close and drop the price because that person's completely bought in based on their tonality and the language that they're using when you ask that question. And something that Trey said was the language. Use words like exactly or specifically. It's actually an acronym, ESP. Use the words exactly, specifically, precisely when you're getting these what are called tie downs before you drop the price and go for the close. So John, what are your thoughts exactly? Or John, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you hate it, 10 being like you feel like this is exactly what you need and what's gonna get you to your goals, where precisely are you at on that scale? When you use that language, the prospect's gonna be very honest with their answer. If they tell you that they're an 8, that's an honest 8. Or if they tell you a 10, that's an honest 10 and you could confidently drop the price right there. And a bonus that you can do, if they are a 9 or a 10, that's obviously high in school. That's an A or an A+. I like to ask them, why so high? Why are you a 9 or a 10? What specifically stood out that you feel would help you the most? They sell themselves even further than you've already sold them, and that gives you a ton of momentum as you're now about to drop price and probably give them some insane sticker shock. In terms of the price drop and actually going for the close, this process is very simple and cannot be overcomplicated. Once I figure out they're a 9 or a 10, I've gotten them to say out loud why they're a 9 or a 10. I literally just say, perfect, would you like to know what the next steps look like? They say yes, I say cool. Basically what the next steps look is we're gonna cover the payment here on the call together. As soon as you do that, I will have you onboarded in the next 10 minutes and completely done with that process by the end here so we can get started on your process to whatever their goal was. Sound fair? Cool. And the investment to get started is just a one-time investment of $5,000. That's it. Very simple. Now, a common sales myth is say the price and shut up. I believe that to an extent. Essentially what I'll do here is I'll drop the price and I'll wait probably 5 to 7 seconds. If nothing's been said after 5 to 7 seconds, I'll just say something along the lines of, you ready to go? Or I'll even assume the close. I won't even say, are you ready to go? I'll just be like, and John, what credit card would you like to throw that on today? Is that gonna be a Visa, a MasterCard, or American Express? Or I'll say something like, John, which email would you like me to send the invoice into? Something like that. Sometimes if you just assume the close, it can get people who are right on the line of saying yes but aren't sure. It can get them to just be like, okay, F it, I'm just gonna buy, here's my credit card. So that's a very advanced tactic, but you can use it, which is assuming the close. But that's the process after the tie downs, after your pitch and getting them sold on your product to drop the price and actually close the deal.
Whenever you price drop too, there's another thing. It's like you want to make sure that the prospect understands it's now on them to be able to respond. What I basically mean by that, if someone is super nervous, and I'll give you an example, and I'm walking you through the price, and John, the 5K and the price of the product is 5K, and I almost make it seem like it's like super awkward and it's super weird. You just have this weird phase where you don't know who's going to be talking. So whenever you price drop, you want to make it very clear that once you stop talking, the prospect knows that it's now on them to be able to respond and let you know what the next steps are. So an example, and John, for everything we talked about, the price is a one-time payment of 5K. That language and the way that I go about that is very specific and it's very clear. So now the customer knows that it's now on them to respond to let me know or the salesperson know what the next steps are from there.
Totally. Last thing I would note is your language here as well. If you're gonna drop the price and be like, so John, the price for the program and to get to your goals is just gonna be, it's actually an investment. It's a pretty big investment. It's gonna be $5,000 racks. Like if you say that, the prospect's gonna be like, all right, this dude's shitting bricks. I'm gonna bully him and push him around and I'm not gonna buy. Like I'll be able to get off this call, no problem. That might be what's going through their head. So when I drop price, it's very confident. John, to get onboarded and to get you to X goal, it's gonna be a one-time investment of $5,000. Then I wait a few seconds and I assume the close. It needs to be very confident. If you're not confident, the prospect will sniff that. And if they're a mature buyer, you're going to get bullied all over the place. So make sure your language and your tonality is very firm.
My go-to line after that 5 to 7 second mark is usually, cool, ready to get rocking and rolling?
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Just something like super casual, something that's just like not super tense. It's like super casual. And
or even some humor, dude.
Yeah.
Like if it goes silent for 5 to 10 seconds, just be like, who died? And then they'll laugh and they'll be like, no, sorry, man. I'm just thinking about it. Cool, dude. Where do you want me to send the invoice to? Go for the close. Add some humility or some humanity to it, and maybe even make them crack a laugh just so it eases the tension that's over the screen. It can definitely help. I'm going to give you a list of a few objections that we've gotten over the course of our sales career, and I'll walk you through a quick overview of how we handle each one. So that way, if you get an objection, you can handle it with ease. You can close the deal, collect that cash either way, all right? A very common sales objection is, let me talk to my spouse, whether that's a husband or a wife or another gender. You never know nowadays. So basically, what I like to do when somebody says, let me talk to my wife or let me talk to my husband, first, I always like to defuse the tension, because what they're expecting you to do right there is, what the heck is your wife going to say? Or they're going to expect you to hard close right then and there, like most commission breath salespeople try to do. We're not going to do that. We're actually going to diffuse any resistance that they have, and we're just going to be like, oh, no worries. Yeah, it's important. Just start off with that. Oh, no worries. That's important. Then they're like, oh, okay. This guy's not like a typical sales guy. He's not going to try to get me to buy because I told him I'm going to go speak to my wife.
A lot of times what happens whenever you do that is like the prospect, you can almost like see themselves just take a deep breath
100%.
Because they're so used to people just like, they say that and they're almost bracing for you to come across with some like witty comeback or some line they practiced 1,000 times. You can almost see the prospect like let their guard down, which is crucial to being able to handle the objection and get them over the line.
Totally, dude. Totally. So after you diffuse it like that, I like to just straight up ask him, what happens if your spouse says no? That's it. And if they say, I'd probably just do it anyway. This is when we go for the hard close. Because if they're going to do it anyways, there's no point in talking to the spouse, giving the spouse that opportunity to give them sales resistance or give them doubts that just don't need to be there. So what I'll do is if they say, yeah, I'd probably just do it anyways, I say, cool. And can I talk to you real quick as like a coach? They say, yeah. And I say, perfect. So can I talk to you here as a coach? Awesome. So you're going to go talk to your wife and you're going to tell her, hey, babe, I found this guy online and he charges $5,000 for some high ticket sales coaching and he does pretty well with it. And yeah, I want to pay him and have him teach me. And then she's going to say no, because that's how 99.9% of people go approach their wives. Or maybe she doesn't say no, but she'll say something like, geez, that's expensive. Or are you sure you should do that? And she'll plant doubt in your head. Since you're going to do this anyway, let's eliminate any opportunity for her to plant some doubt. And let's actually do this in a way to where she's going to believe in you the absolute most as you start this journey, because a good supporter in your corner is really what's going to allow you to hit your goals and have the highest probability to do that. Yeah. So what we'll do, instead of going to talk to the wife and delaying this, let's get you onboarded today. But what I want you to do to get the wife fully bought in so we can have her as that supporter is I'm going to onboard you and get you access to all of our resources, coaching, tools, just like the whole nine. And then when you go tell her about this, I want you to show her from the inside exactly what our product and service looks like. More importantly, who it's worked for and how well that it's worked for them. That's going to get her to believe in this way more than you just going and telling her, hey babe, I want to spend $5,000 on this product. But I'm curious though, which of those two options do you feel like would convince your wife the most? He's not going to say, oh yeah, just me telling her, right? And if he does, the spouse isn't the objection. Most likely he'll say, yeah, probably showing her from the inside. It's like, exactly. And like I said, since we're going to do this anyway, it makes most sense to onboard now just to save everybody's time. So John, where should I send that invoice to? Bam. Yep. Deal closed. Good to go. Now, if you ask the prospect, John, what happens if your wife says no? He says, probably wouldn't do it. Then I said, here's the key. This is very key, so you're going to want to note this down if anything. If he says, oh, she says no, then I'd probably say no. I say, gotcha. And if she says yes, are we 100% going to be processing the payment and moving forward? Or do you feel like you wouldn't quite be ready for that yet? There's two routes that we go from here. If John says, yeah, if she says yes, I'm in. Okay, John's in. We just got to get the wife sold. That's easy. We can set a strategic follow-up and I can walk you through that in a different video. However, if John says, yeah, I wouldn't be quite ready for that yet, guess what? We just uncovered that the spouse objection that he originally gave us was a smokescreen objection, aka a fake objection for something that's not what he told us initially, all right? And we have just figured that out now. So if John says, yeah, I wouldn't be quite ready for that yet, no worries, John. What do you feel like, even at that point, if the wife was like, yes, do this, what at that point do you feel like would hold you back from being 100% ready to rock and roll and get started with us? Out comes John's real objection. There he'll say, oh, it's the money, or he'll say something else, right? And then we can handle that specific objection. But overall, a few routes here. First step is just to say, what happens if your spouse says no? If they say they'll do it anyways, go for the hard close. If they say, if my spouse says no, I can't do it. We asked them, if they say yes, are we 100% processing payment moving forward? If the answer to that is yes, we set a strategic follow-up with the spouse. If the answer to that is no, then we know they just set a smoke screen for what's a different objection, and we now have to figure out what that real objection is and handle that.
Yeah, and guys, one thing that you can do, and unfortunately this is not going to happen always, is you can just straight up ask if they say they need to talk to their wife if they're around. That's something that's just like super simple and super easy. Hey, are they around? You go talk to them. I've closed a ton of deals like this where I've got a call with someone and they say I need to go talk to them. I'm like, cool. Go talk to them. Now, obviously, like ideally, you have them on the call so that they can put themselves on mute. They can have a conversation. They can talk it over. Yeah. If they're around, you can get them to call them. You can get them to go downstairs and talk to them, and then you can use that as a worst case scenario. Because obviously, if they're around, it's much easier for them to have the conversation and get them on board. If they can do that and then close a deal, but if not, you obviously have a framework that you can walk them through.
Another example of an objection is a prospect waiting for the perfect time to start something. How I handle this is it's very simple, and I actually got this framework from Alex Hormozi. I've mentioned his name a couple times in this video. He's one of my sales mentors, I guess you could say, even though I've never met the guy. But he has a very good reframe for people who are looking to do something at a later date because the timing would be more ideal. It's called the when-then fallacy. For example, it would be like you saying, I'll go to the doctor when I get better, or I'll buy this program to make money online when I'm already making money online. It makes no sense. It's like when people say, on January 1st, I'm going to get super fit. They're basically saying, I'm going to eat like crap for all of December and give in to all the temptations that December and Christmas time is going to bring, but I'm going to start on January 1st. It's a fallacy. That's not how it works, because you don't just cold start the engine on January 1st, ready to make a change out of nowhere after you just had an absolute bender of a month, right? The reason 99% of people don't hit their New Year's resolutions or just goals overall is because they're always waiting for the perfect time. Thing is, there's never a perfect time. You're always going to be busy. There's always going to be a vacation. There's always going to be a surgery coming up, or a kid's game that you have to attend, or just something. There's always going to be something that you can make an excuse for to not take action on something now. People don't hit their New Year's resolutions because they're waiting for the perfect time. So as soon as the time's not perfect, they fail. Same thing with building a business. Same thing for any of the offers you're going to be selling. You cannot let prospects wait for a perfect time, because the reason they're in their bad situation to begin with is because they've been waiting for the perfect time to take action their entire life. I hope that makes sense. There's tons of different objections, and there's tons of ways to handle those objections, but we'll do that in a different video just so this video doesn't take hours on end. Hope this video was valuable. If you want to get coached through this process one by one by the both of us, as well as get placed in a remote sales position where you can make anywhere from $70,000 to $350,000 per year, click the link in the description, book in a call with one of us, and we'll see if it's a good fit to work together.